Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys, brought to you by the National Hockey Now Network. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, presented by National Hockey Now, Friday, November 25th. Hopefully everyone survived U.S. Thanksgiving, had an enjoyable holiday. I certainly did. Even it wasn't a holiday here in Canada, but I had an enjoyable day watching, NFL football, college basketball. It's pretty much all that there was available to us yesterday on Thanksgiving, and it was a good betting day for yours truly. So I enjoyed the day, certainly. Hopefully you did as well, and we are ready to break down a massive Friday NHL card as usual, the traditional Black Friday schedule where you have day games and night games. We will break down what's left of the card. We have one game underway already. It is 2-0 for the Carolina Hurricanes over the Boston Bruins after the first period. So a good start for Carolina after, quite honestly, a humbling, embarrassing loss to Arizona the other night at home. So very good start there for the Hurricanes in that game. Colorado-Nashville postponed because of a water main break at Bridgestone Arena in Nashville. That's a first. I don't know if I've heard that before, but shocking development there that game postponed for that reason. We've got 3 games that are just starting as we hit the air here with today's edition of the Ice Guys. So we're going to do rapid fire. And if you're a Patreon member, again, it's $10 a month, patreon.com/Ice Guys. If you're a subscriber to our Ice Guys Patreon site, you will have seen the bets that we like for these early games already. But I will list them off right now for those of you that aren't. And, of course, those of you listening to the show. I'm on Calgary, and Calgary is my best bet on the show today, actually. Calgary Flames -120 against Washington. It is a cheap price to back the better team in that game, in my opinion. Off a loss against Pittsburgh. I think they take care of business against still a depleted, struggling Washington team. Calgary Flames -120. Not only a bet, but my best bet for the show today. So I'll reiterate that. I might give you another best bet at the end of the show from one of the other games. But certainly, if I had to choose one singular best bet, it would have been that. Toronto, Minnesota, I'm passing on. I would certainly lean Toronto a little bit, but Minnesota's played better the last couple of games, beating Carolina and Winnipeg. It feels like it's a cheap price on them, but Murray's playing well in net for the Leafs. He's in net for them today. Tough game overall. I think I lean over 6 with the total dropping, but just a lean there. Montreal, Chicago. I am on Montreal, and I am on over 6 in that game. It went up to 6.5, but I think Montreal takes advantage of a Chicago team struggling to keep the puck out of their own net in that game. So definitely liking the Habs, definitely liking goals to be scored in that game. Chicago's trended over the total, 5 or 6 straight that have gone over the number. Alex B. Smith, for those wondering, he will be along momentarily. He's running a little bit late, running a little bit behind, but he will be with us later on in the show. All right, so we're all caught up. Let's move on with the rest of the card from here on out. This game starts at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Ottawa Senators at Anaheim Ducks. We've got Ottawa -150. Road favorites, 6.5 the total in this game. If you listen to the show, or if you watched or listened to the show we did on Wednesday before Thanksgiving, Jimmy Murphy joined us. DJ Smith is on borrowed time right now, head coach of the Senators. He said that he might not even make it past the weekend if they continue losing. Now, we'll see if that is indeed the case, but right now, definitely some issues with the Ottawa Senators, and they just continue to play horrible hockey. How you can lay -150 with them, I have no idea. I like Anaheim a little bit here, +130. Now, Anaheim's no great shakes either. It's not like this team's playing great hockey either, but what I like about this Anaheim Ducks team is they faced a solid Rangers team, found a way to win that game. It was a better performance in net from John Gibson, and maybe that gives them a little bit of confidence moving forward, starting here against, again, an Ottawa team that is 1-7 on the road this year. One win away from home all season long for this Senators team. So it just continues to be a disappointing. They haven't been obviously anywhere close to the same blue line without Thomas Chabot, who would be. He's by far the number one defenseman on this team. They've been missing him severely, dearly here the last few games. And definitely the struggles continue for Ottawa. Defensively, they're giving up goals still. And the worst part is the one thing that could really count on was scoring goals and the offensive production. And they've been held to 1 goal now in 3 straight games prior to today. So all kinds of issues right now for Ottawa. This to me is just, I don't like, how can you lay minus 150 with Ottawa on the road right now with zero confidence? A coach that's definitely on the hot seat right now at this point in time as well. So I got to just look at Anaheim here, plus 130. And look, Anaheim, like I said, has not obviously had their issues too this year, but they at least have 4 wins on home ice. They're coming off a win that should give them a little bit of confidence for this game here this afternoon. So I like Anaheim plus 130. I think this game could open up too. I know Anaheim and the Rangers stayed under the total. Ottawa struggled to score. But you got to think against this Anaheim team, Ottawa can at least find the back of the net. You see guys like Batherson, DeBrincat, Stützle, and Tkachuk end up maybe bringing it here tonight. Pinto as well. And on the flip side, we know Anaheim certainly, if there's a strength of them this year, it's been their ability to get production from the top 6. I mean, Zegras, Terry have been good. Vetrano and Strome have been solid at times offensively for them. Mason McTavish in his full rookie season kind of struggled to get going early, but I think he's been a lot better and more noticeable, and he did get on the scoreboard with a goal in the victory against the Rangers the other night. So the over 6 I got, and there was not many books that had 6 when I bet it, but it was over 6 minus 120. Still lean that way at 6.5, and I'm going to take a shot with Anaheim. Again, this is more along the lines of this is an Ottawa team that I just cannot, in good faith and good conscience, recommend here minus 150. In this kind of price range. All right, let's go to Pittsburgh and Philadelphia next up. This is the Keystone State rivalry. This is actually one of 2 games today on TNT. TNT has a national TV Black Friday doubleheader here today, and this is the first of the 2 games. Philly hosting Pittsburgh. We've got the Penguins minus 220 road favorites in this game, and the total sitting at 6.5. I don't really have a strong feel for this game. I don't want to back Philadelphia. That much I know. We know the Flyers are having some problems right now, big time. They're on a losing streak. They're not playing good hockey, and it's been everything. I don't think Carter Hart has played as well in net. The defensive play that was really the backbone of the Flyers' early season success has faltered lately, and more than anything, this team is beaten up to shit right now. The Philadelphia Flyers at the center ice spot. I said this multiple times. When Morgan Frost is your number 1 center, and then your other centers, Hayes is solid, and then you've got Sedlak and Brown. I mean, it's just a horrid quartet at the center ice position. And if you're weak down the middle, and if you're riddled with injuries at the center ice position, you're not going to be as good a hockey team. Simple as that. And we're definitely seeing that right now from the Philadelphia Flyers. Definitely having their share of issues right now in terms of the center ice position. Their offense is dried up. Defensively, the Philadelphia Flyers and the goaltending hasn't been nearly as sharp as it was early in the season either. So I don't want Philly. Here's the issue with Pittsburgh. They're laying a big price. They're coming off a couple of big wins in a row. And now they're playing a Philadelphia Flyers team that, Philadelphia will be fired up to play the Penguins. And the Penguins, that Malkin had a big moment the other night where, 1,000th game, he has a big night, kind of an emotional scene there with the way that ended up going for the Pittsburgh Penguins and that win against Calgary. It kind of feels like not a letdown spot. There shouldn't be when you play an in-state rival, but Philly's not good. I could see Pittsburgh kind of being lethargic today. And that's concerning with the minus 220 road favorite. Plus, with Pittsburgh, we know they've had some bad losses here the last month, especially during that losing streak they had. So I just don't think there's any sort of value on Pittsburgh, but at the same time, can't back Philly. So ends up being a pass. If you believe in trends, most of the recent games, Philly and Pittsburgh have been higher scoring in Philadelphia. We'll see if that ends up being the case once again here today. But definitely when it comes to this game, I'm leaning toward the over, if anything, but I'm not going to be on it, side or total, between the Penguins and the Flyers. All right, the rest of the games are night games, starting with New Jersey and Buffalo. We've got the New Jersey Devils minus 150 to minus 155. Road favorites here, total 6.5. Can the New Jersey Devils just bounce right back after seeing their incredible win streak get snapped? They are held short of getting the franchise record win streak by the Toronto Maple Leafs in that loss on Wednesday night. And what would really concern me here for the Devils is, and this is a spot where I usually like to go against teams in, long win streak, it gets snapped. It's a bit of a bubble burst, a little bit of a hangover when you see that winning streak come to an end. And not only that it came to an end, that long win streak, but the fashion, that was a bubbling cauldron of emotion, intensity. It was a lively environment last night or Wednesday night between the Leafs and Devils, and fans pelting the ice with stuff all over the ice for that. By the way, that's bush league. That's ridiculous what they were doing. First of all, know the rules. That's number one. And I'm not a big Leaf apologist, but know the rules. Number one. You could make a case all three of those goals. I know it was 3 goals called back. You're not happy. You think there's something. They're in it. They're in it to screw us. They're in it to. They're against us. They're trying to get us to lose this game. The fix is in all this nonsense I've read the last 2 days. First of all, know the rules. Number two, all 3 of those goals you can make a case they all should have been disallowed. First goal, there was contact. Second goal, clearly Murray got run over by Tatar. And then the third goal was kicked in. It's black and white. It's plain as day. Clear as can be. There's no debate. Kick the puck in, kicking motion, no goal. What's there to be upset about? And then that's the moment when the fans, lost their shit and threw all kinds of debris on the ice. I mean, I get being upset that you had 3 goals called back, but my goodness, I mean, you could clear. There's definitely 2 of the 3 absolutely were the right calls. Maybe the first one you could say that was very minimal contact. Maybe that was a 50-50 call with that situation, and you say, hey, maybe could have went the Devils' way, but I mean, absolutely ridiculous. That if you're throwing shit on the ice because you think the rules they made the wrong call, then you need your head examined. So that was disappointing to see that, but and look, it's the first time I've seen the Devils crowd actually hyped up in a decade. Now all of a sudden they're all angry when things are going against them. It's fascinating. Where were you 5 years ago when you sucked, and now all of a sudden you're packing the place because you have a 12-game win streak going? I mean, come on, let's be fair. Let's be fair as a fan base here. Where were you when the team sucked? Now all of a sudden you think you've got the right to throw shit on the ice for when 2 of the 3 goals actually were rightfully disallowed? Give me a break. Anyway, that's enough of that rant. I think it's going to be difficult here for the New Jersey Devils here in this one. When they see the big long win streak snapped in that game against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and Buffalo's turned it around all of a sudden. And Matthias Samuelsson has been the cornerstone, I think, to them playing better. Honestly, you look at the results here for Buffalo. They get Samuelsson back against Montreal. They beat Montreal. They snapped the losing streak, and then after that, we ended up seeing the game against St. Louis, back-to-back situation. Sabres still get the victory. So with Samuelsson back from his injury, and he's a big important blue liner, even though he's still very young. We know Power and Dahlin, they're all very good. But at the same point in time, when it comes to Samuelsson, he's one of their better, sturdier, defensive-minded defensemen. Great on the penalty kill. Great in his own end. And they missed that. No question about that when he was out. They were 4-1 in 5 games before his injury. And then he comes back. They're 2-0 since he's been back. The Montreal and the St. Louis game this week, they won both. They're now 6-1 with him in the lineup, him on the ice. So you got to give the Sabres credit him credit for playing well, and the Sabres are clearly a better team with him on the ice. I like Buffalo here. I think they're a very live home dog. New Jersey off the streak snapping loss against Toronto. I think that's not easy to come back from when you've had a long winning streak that lengthy, and it's not easy to just get back in the saddle and get back in the win column again. So I like the Sabres here. It's been an over series history. Buffalo's trending over, so I'm going to go with over 6.5 as well, -120 in this game with the Devils and the Sabres. So that's what we're going to be looking at here in this one. All right. Next up, we've got, as we continue along here, I've got college football games and hockey games like crazy. There's like 5 or 6 screens directly right in front of me right now. TV screens, laptop streams, you name it. So we're trying to keep our eyes on everything during while we're doing the show here. So if I'm a little bit sputtering over my words because I see something that catches my attention, that's the reason for it. But we're trying to stay as focused as we can. Not easy when you've got a crazy day like this and so much going on. Next up, we've got Arizona and Detroit. We've got Detroit minus 190, home favorites here, 6 the total in this game. This Arizona team, I'm not ready to lay a minus 190 price against the Coyotes right now. I cashed a big underdog winner with them against Kakalaki on Wednesday night as they shut out, not just beat Carolina, but shut out the Carolina Hurricanes 4-0 the other night. Very impressive stuff from the Hurricanes from the Coyotes in that game. Karel Vejmelka with an impressive performance, getting the shutout in that victory. They've played really, really tough on this road trip. They've had some good performances. All that being said, the road trip, it's been a long one. Can they keep this up? Can they keep bringing this energy, bringing this good team defense, good team structure? That's what's really given them the chance to hang in these games and the chance to get these victories. I mean, they've committed to better defense, and obviously it helps when your goaltender's playing better, and certainly Karel Vejmelka is playing better for the Coyotes. By the way, it's I wanted to update the goaltenders. I didn't do that with the earlier games. Ottawa, Anaheim, we don't have goalies confirmed there. We don't have them confirmed with Pittsburgh, Philadelphia either. We know it's Akira Schmid for New Jersey and Craig Anderson. They are the goalies in that New Jersey Buffalo game. In this game, it's Vejmelka and Husso. And the way both of them are playing for their respective teams, it's a good goalie matchup. Husso's been good for Detroit lately, no question. He's played very, very well for the Sabres, for the Red Wings, rather, in the last few games. Arizona, like I said, Vejmelka's been solid. I like the way Detroit's playing, though. So I'm way more reluctant to take Arizona tonight. That being said, I'm also not going to be going against Arizona in this game at this price with Detroit laying minus 190. So it's going to be a stay off game for me. I'm going to take the money and run Steve Miller Band style with the Arizona Coyotes after the victory against Carolina the other night. Plus 320. Plus, you're only getting plus 170 here. Big difference. I find Arizona is more of an attractive underdog bet when they're like that plus 320 against a really good team, as opposed to, plus 170 against an okay team, if you will. So that's the way I'm going about it here with this game here between the Coyotes and Red Wings. It's more of a prop game if I were to get involved with anything here. As far as from a betting standpoint, props would be what I'd look at. For Arizona, Nick Schmaltz is back. Something to keep in mind. Pounce maybe on a prop with him. He's playing with Boyd and Keller on the top line center spot. As far as the Detroit Red Wings go, they've really gotten some solid offensive contributions lately from the likes of Raymond, Larkin, Kubalik. They're all in very good form right now for the Red Wings. So definitely could go in those directions from a prop standpoint here with the Coyotes and the Red Wings tonight. All right, next up, we've got New York Islanders, Columbus Blue Jackets. Islanders minus 190, road favorites, 6 the total in this game. I mean, there's no backing Columbus for me right now with the injuries. And the fact that actually this team is 3-2 in their last 5 games with everybody that's out of the lineup, I actually have to give them some credit for that. Not easy for them to be a competitive hockey team right now when you consider all the players that are currently out of the lineup for the Blue Jackets. They've got 4 starting defensemen, 4 guys that would normally be their regular starting defensemen out for them right now, out of the lineup. So that's definitely been a problem. No question about that for the Columbus Blue Jackets. You've got Patrick Laine, Justin Danforth out. You've got Jake Voracek on IR. And like I said, 4 starting defensemen. Elvis Merzlikin's on IR. So you got to basically play Jonas Korpisalo and Daniil Tarasov every game. I mean, just lots of key personnel out of the lineup right now for the Jackets. So I don't want Columbus. Could only look to the Islanders, but I don't know if I want the Islanders at minus 190 in this spot. You're coming off 2 more, not more important games, but games where you probably get the team's full focus. You play a team like Toronto, you play Edmonton, 2 pretty good hockey teams. Now you play a struggling Jackets team. Islanders already beat the Jackets 4-3 in overtime, and to be honest, Columbus gave them a game last time when they played the Islanders just a couple of weeks ago. So They didn't lay down in that game. It was competitive. So I just don't feel comfortable laying a price this big on the Islanders, even though I lean Islanders. Maybe you take them in regulation to get a better price. I do like the over in this game. I think we see goals. I think the Islanders will get their offense revved up here against, again, a completely depleted Columbus blue line that struggled all season long to keep the puck out of their net. I think that's probably going to continue today. You would think at home on home ice, though, you'll see something offensively out of the Jackets. They have been able to score goals in multiple games this season. We'll see if they can continue to do that here tonight in this game against the Islanders. But we have seen them be able, even with the injuries, to score at least a couple of goals on home ice. And I think they'll be able to here tonight in this game. I'm looking to see if maybe they rest Sorokin, the Islanders, but they're not. They're going to go with him. That's the one concern. He's played great for the most part this season, but I think the Jackets can still contribute at least a little bit offensively. And then meanwhile, you're going to get, I think, a pretty solid performance offensively from this Islanders team tonight. So I'm going to go over 6 here with the Islanders and the Blue Jackets tonight. Prop-wise, they keep experimenting with the Blue Jackets lineup right now. Lots of tinkering going on by Brad Larson. It looks like Gustav Nyquist is going to get the Patrick Laine spot on the top line with Boone Jenner and Johnny Gaudreau. Trey Fix-Wolanski has been called up from the AHL. He's second in the AHL in scoring, 22 points in 14 games. They're going to put him with Roslovic and Kent Johnson on the second line. So there you go, Trey Fix-Wolanski here on the second line for the Columbus Blue Jackets. There's a prop value bargain bin option, in my opinion, that I think probably is worth a look there in that game. So, and as far as the Islanders go, you're looking at, Wahlstrom on the top line is always worth a look, in my opinion. Keep an eye on Simon Holmstrom, promoted from the AHL as well. He's going to replace Kyle Palmieri in the lineup, and Holmstrom has 5 points, 15 games in the AHL. It's just, this is a guy that was a first-round draft pick in 2019. But he looks like they're going to throw Simon Holmstrom into the top line from all indications with Barzal and Wahlstrom. So if that's indeed the case, Simon Holmstrom here is probably going to be worth a look here in terms of a value player prop option. Again, the morning skate lineup combinations would lead you to believe he's going to get top line opportunity tonight for the New York Islanders. And if that's the case, he's definitely, I think, going to be worth a look in terms of a value-laden goal scorer player prop option here for the New York Islanders tonight. All right, the second game of the TNT doubleheader is next up here, and it is the St. Louis Blues taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. We've got Tampa Bay minus 190 here in this game. The total currently 6 across the board. I would only take at the St. Louis at the plus price here. I might put a small play on St. Louis. I like the over more than that, but I just can't justify it with Tampa right now. Kind of like with Carolina, where they're being priced based on reputation as opposed to current form. Carolina's kind of being priced that way in the last few games. Granted, they're playing good so far today. They're leading Boston last I checked. But still a situation where I really don't love the idea of laying minus 190 with Tampa Bay. Now, they're off a loss against Boston, and Cooper wasn't really thrilled with the way they played, particularly defensively. Vasilevsky continues to be not quite the level of play from Vasilevsky we've become accustomed to. There's no question he has been far from spectacular here as of late, and I think you're going to see this team here, Tampa Bay, play better, but not trustworthy, in my opinion, as minus 190 favorite. So I'll have a small bet on the Blues. I do like the over here. It's trended over. 3 straight meetings have gone over between these two teams. Aggressive mindset from both. Tampa Bay off a loss, St. Louis off a loss. So I think both teams push early in the game. And obviously, if one gets the lead early, it opens the game up even more. So I definitely like seeing this game go over the total here, 6 with the Blues and the Lightning. And I'll probably have a smaller bet, pizza money style, if you will, on the Blues here, because I just think Tampa Bay, they're in that zone right now where their current form doesn't match the price point. They're not playing at a minus 200 level, and I see minus 200 actually at some spots here now with the Lightning in this game. Binnington and Vasilevsky, by the way, confirmed to be the goaltender matchup in this game as of right now. As far as the props go, I would probably just look at Ryan O'Reilly or potentially Robert Thomas for St. Louis, the top two centers. Nick Paul, I think, is underrated right now for Tampa. He's played well for them. He's been one of their better forwards of late. So there's a few options here in terms of player props for this game between the Blues and the Lightning. All right, next up as we continue along here on this Friday card, we've got Seattle and Vegas. Vegas minus 190, home favorites. The total right now, 6 shaded to the over. I mean, I am concerned about the spot for Vegas. Just, you got Seattle coming, and Seattle's played actually surprisingly well on the road this year. Road record's actually not bad at all, not too shabby for the Seattle Kraken. So this isn't a gimme for the Vegas Golden Knights here, but they're also a team that kind of reluctant to step in front of them, playing some, pretty good hockey overall. We'll see if that continues here tonight against Seattle. But I think the key thing here in this game for the Kraken is we saw their offense explode finally in the victory against San Jose. They're getting relatively healthier now as well, which is good to see. Philip Grubauer, it looks like, is going to be the starting goaltender tonight for the Kraken in this game. We'll see if he's able to keep it rolling for the Seattle Kraken. They've certainly played some, like I say, solid hockey here as of late, and especially, like I say, on the road, they're 5-2 this year. So, don't count them out. It's Vegas in maybe a little bit of a not a down spot, but a sleepy spot, if you will, after wins against Vancouver and Ottawa. But they are continuing to find ways to win. It is worth noting that. It's just this game reminds me of that San Jose game a little bit. Vegas is a huge favorite team. They probably should beat on home ice. And against San Jose, I remember they lost that game 5-2. Seattle hasn't beaten Vegas either. That's probably something that's also keeping me off the Seattle side, even though I do think situationals kind of favor them a little bit, starting a road trip, good road record this year. But Vegas is 5-0 all time against Seattle since the Kraken have entered the league. So that is definitely something that maybe you don't want to tempt fate or go against that necessarily, that kind of track record. So we'll see how this one goes, but definitely as of right now, no bet for me on this game, other than maybe looking at props, and props might be the best way to go in this game. Jaden Schwartz has been good. Eberle's been good for Seattle. Those are Wenberg's not worth a look probably too. He's chipped in offensively. Those are some good props on the Seattle side of the equation. As far as Vegas is concerned, I've talked for a long time now about Riley Smith and how well he's played. He's been scoring goals on a regular basis here for the Vegas Golden Knights. Sometimes it's just as simple as you want to ride the hot. You really could do that with Mark Stone, who's got 5 goals in the last 4 games, multiple points in 2 of those 4 games. Not might be worth it to look over 1.5 points. That's not the type of prop I do regularly. But Mark Stone right now, with the way he's playing for the Vegas Golden Knights offensively, looking toward that over 1.5 points prop for him tonight against Seattle might be something worth considering in this game. All right, Winnipeg Jets, Dallas Stars. Next up here on this Friday slate, we've got the Stars minus 165, road home favorites. The total right now in this game currently sitting at 6 shaded to the over. I think the Jets are live here. And look, I took the Jets against the Wild the other night. Didn't go well at all. They were just outplayed. Nothing more to it than that. And it's one of those games where you can tell right away. I mean, Winnipeg doesn't have it tonight, and they did not have it in that game against the Minnesota Wild. But now you get them after a shellacking like that, looking to bounce back. I do think they will play a lot better tonight. And Dallas, all of a sudden, they've had a very good start to the season. We can't make it sound like they haven't. They're 12-8. They're 6-3 at home, 12-8 overall. But you look at some of these recent wins. I mean, they had to come back from 4-1 down to beat a struggling Chicago team. They lost to Colorado, 5-2 to the Islanders, but that game was close for a large part. They hung on against Florida and almost blew a big lead. They lose in overtime to Tampa. They lose to San Jose. They lose, to Winnipeg in Winnipeg earlier this year. These teams have already faced each other twice. The home team has won each game. This has been a home team dominated series. I fully acknowledge that as well. So it does concern me a little bit with taking Winnipeg because of that. But I find getting this price with a team that's played solid hockey, that's off a bad 6-1 performance against Minnesota, I think definitely you're going to see the Jets worth a look here, plus 145. And Connor Hellebuck has been confirmed in net, and that was the key for me to pulling the trigger in this game. Connor Hellebuck, after a bad game, he's been known, his pattern has been playing a lot better when he struggles in the previous game. And I could definitely see that being the case here tonight for the Winnipeg Jets, that he just plays a whole lot better in between the pipes following a very disappointing 6-1 setback against the Minnesota Wild. So, for that reason, I think Hellebuck in this spot, you'll see him play a lot better, the team as well. Even though they're without still Ehlers and Appleton, two key forwards up front, we've still seen them be able to overcome it and win a bunch of games. 11-7, by the way, the Jets. They're not that far behind Dallas in terms of the win-loss record. And Jake Ottinger, who we talked about in the first few games returning from injury, we talked about on this show how he was struggling a little bit. Looked like he was turning it around, getting better, but then gave up 4 goals to Chicago the other night. Wasn't his best performance. He still hasn't found that game-to-game consistency in net since returning from injury. So I'm going to go with Winnipeg here at a nice price, plus 145. I think you get a better performance and effort from the Jets after the Minnesota game. And to me, prior to that Minnesota game, the Jets' form was really good. They had won 6 of their last 8 games prior to the loss against Minnesota. I think they play a lot better tonight, and I think they've got a shot. That's all I can ask for, taking them here at plus 145 in this game. Probably would lean under the total as well, considering you've got Dallas off a high-scoring game. They're not going to like giving up 4 to Chicago. Winnipeg and Hellebuck in particular has a good track record of bouncing back after a shaky performance. So for that reason, we'll lean to the under here with Winnipeg, Dallas as well. All right, Los Angeles taking on San Jose. Actually, you know what? Before we get to that game, I think there was a prop that I wanted to mention for Dallas, even though I like Winnipeg, because it doesn't mean you can't bet Dallas props, even though I like the Jets in this game. Yeah, it was Yoel Kiviranta for the Dallas Stars, who is moving up the lineup a bit to the second line tonight. Again, it's a guy that hasn't gotten things rolling offensively yet, only 3 goals on the season for him. But he is going to get definitely more minutes and a better spot up the lineup tonight for the Stars. And again, not going to be priced like it in terms of the goal scorer prop. So definitely would look toward maybe a look at Kiviranta again, because you're getting him in the second line tonight, moving up the lineup to see if that can get his offense going tonight in this game against the Winnipeg Jets. All right, LA Kings, San Jose Sharks. We've got LA minus 145 road favorites in this one, and the total right now sitting at 6 across the board. You do have to lay a bit of a price here with the team total, but how can I not bet the team total again with San Jose? I have talked about this repeatedly on the show here the last few games, especially the last week or two, and San Jose games keep going over their team total. I mean, over 2.5 minus 146 is the price at Pinnacle right now. I mean, what can you say? They've scored 3 or more goals in 12 of the last 13 games, the San Jose Sharks. Offense has not been their issue. The issue has been keeping the puck out of their own net, and we will see if that continues to be a problem for them here tonight as they take on the LA Kings, who are suddenly on a bit of a tailspin. Not anything that's you hit the panic button over, but 3 straight losses for the Kings to Vancouver, Seattle, and the New York Rangers. They will be looking to bounce back from those 3 losses tonight. And certainly this is their best chance to get back on track. This is, a San Jose team that in theory they should be able to beat. But I remember we've talked a lot of Kings-Sharks games on this show the last, I would say, 6 months to a year since the start of last season. And how many times have I said, I like LA in this spot. They're better than San Jose, and San Jose beats them. San Jose has had LA's number. I can't explain why that is, but there's just certain situations where where teams just play well consistently against a particular opponent. And San Jose is 8-2 in the last 10 meetings against LA. And the Sharks are also 5-1 in the last 6 against the Kings here in San Jose. So, this has definitely been a situation. I've been burned many times in the past taking LA against San Jose, and San Jose ends up winning. So, especially now with San Jose playing at least well offensively, like I said, this stretch of games where they've scored at least 3 goals now in 12 of their last 13 games. I think that means you could probably ride the team total once again here going into this game tonight with the San Jose Sharks. So that's what I'm going to do. And that way, too, if I take the team total and they lose the game, but they still score, let's say it's 4-3 LA, still cash the team total, even if San Jose loses the game. I kind of do think the Kings are going to be get better and get off the schneid, probably maybe as early as tonight. But again, when you've been riding something and it's been repeatedly coming through, and that's the Shark team total overs, we're not getting off that train tonight in this matchup. And by the way, Sean Durzi, who we know is a burgeoning, blooming defenseman for this Kings team, he's been really good. 3 goals, 6 assists, great at both ends of the ice, blocks a lot of shots. Moves the puck, gets the transition going from defense to offense, very good at it. He is out day-to-day with a lower body injury, so that is definitely a concern for the Kings, someone that they've really come to rely on quite a bit on that blue line, Sean Durzi. So definitely I would be looking toward a San Jose team total over here in this game. Probably lean to the full game over as well now that it's down to 6. San Jose full game overs have gone 7-3 to the full game over in their last 10 games. And even the Kings have seen the over cash at a 500 3-3 clip their last 6 games coming into tonight. So lean full game over, but definitely going to go ahead with another San Jose team total over in this game. As far as the props go for this Kings-Sharks game, for the Kings right now, again, a team that you would think is going to throw Fiala definitely has got it rolling at the moment. For the LA Kings, have been waiting for him to get going. He had a 1-goal, 3-point performance in the loss against the Rangers. He started to get his offense going slowly but surely. Gabe Vilardi all of a sudden cooling off for the first time. We've also got Trevor Moore with 4 goals in the last 4 games, so he is starting to get rolling a little bit for the LA Kings. And like I said, our guy Gabe Vilardi, who it was a meal ticket. It was a cash cow with his goal prop early in the season. Well, he's all of a sudden, for the first time, hit a little bit of a slump. Just 1 goal for him in the last 7 games, but it was bound to happen. You're not going to end up scoring at the clip that he was for the entire season. So there's some options there. For San Jose, I'd stick with Meyer, Hurdle, LeBanc, Couture, Barabanov. Those have really been the key cogs up front that have been getting it done and getting the goals for the San Jose Sharks of late. So definitely I would consider all of those options I just mentioned for some props and goal scorer props in this game tonight between the Sharks and the Kings. All right. Alex did warn me he was running way behind here. So we'll see if he's even if he is going to join us at some point. I think, gotten through every game. We're going to wind this thing down. It is, again, day after Thanksgiving. So we will see if Alex is back with us tomorrow. Again, we are on the air tomorrow at noon Eastern. So make sure you join us for that Saturday card. The Saturday card, not as big as it normally is because obviously we had a big Friday slate, but there's still 9 games tomorrow in the NHL, and we will break those down for you as we always do on the Saturday weekend edition of the Ice Guys show, noon Eastern tomorrow right here. So make sure you join us for that. Make sure you also subscribe to patreon.com/Ice Guys. Just $10 a month. Totally worth it. Good content. And you end up getting certainly the daily betting card each and every day on the Patreon page of our plays that we mention on the show. And there's also sometimes a few additions that I don't mention on the show, but I bet them later closer to puck drop, and I'll post them on the Patreon page as well. So it's definitely worth it for that. Our totals charts are there. Alex's goalie depth charts are there, power ratings and more. All of that at patreon.com/Ice Guys, just $10 a month. I don't know what they're doing with Avs Preds, Javius in the chat. I mean, they postponed it due to the broken wire. It'll be rescheduled, obviously, but they didn't announce when that will be. They'll definitely find a spot on the schedule, I would think, where both teams don't have a game, and they will end up probably playing it when it's convenient for both teams. But they didn't officially announce when that game will be made up between the Avs and the Preds. All right, let's wrap up the show. We got best bets here to wrap it up for this Friday edition. My best bet, I'll obviously go with a game that is still to come tonight. Give me the Buffalo Sabres. I'm going with it. I love this angle. We go against the team that had the win streak snapped like New Jersey did against Toronto. Not only that, 12-game win streak, it gets snapped, we fall short of the franchise record, but it was an emotional game, an intense game. The environment they were in a frenzy. It was a bubbling cauldron of emotion in the building. The crowd was wired, within that game. They were pissed off that they had 3 goals called back. That could be a hangover waiting to happen for the New Jersey Devils tonight, following that loss with it was like a playoff atmosphere, playoff type of game between them and the Leafs on Wednesday night. I think it'll be difficult for them to bounce back. Buffalo's playing better. 6-1, the Buffalo Sabres with Matthias Samuelsson in the lineup this season. Great value, great spot maybe to fade New Jersey. That's due, I think, to come back down to earth a little bit. Look, they're still a very good hockey team. They're going to not be, I don't think, in the tank forever, but I think they could lose a couple at least following the snapping of that win streak. Buffalo for me at plus 140. That is going to be my best bet here for this Friday NHL card. Buffalo Sabres plus 140 against the New Jersey Devils for my best bet. And that'll wrap up this edition of the Ice Guys. Thanks to everyone in the chat for joining us. Hit the like button on the way out. I appreciate it very much. And a reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms: Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great holiday Friday. Tons going on: NHL, college football, college basketball, NBA. You're going to have NFL this weekend. Whatever sports you're betting, including the NHL, make it a winning night, a winning weekend. Cash some tickets, enjoy the games, and good luck. And we will talk to you again tomorrow on Saturday, noon Eastern, for another edition of the Ice Guys presented by National Hockey Now.